Hello friends, welcome to BISP Solutions. My name is Basant, and in today's video we are going to learn how we can make some custom validation, and that will be validate effective dates are ordered correctly. And basically it is a kind of we are doing in the EDMCS application. So let's start. So with effective date that they are ordered correctly, I mean by that we mean that suppose we have a start date and end date. So the start date should not the start date should always be earlier than the end date, and end date should not be earlier than the start date likewise, or in some cases end date cannot be equal to the start date. So for this I have made some example for you and made two cases here, that is one is case 1 and one is case 2. So that will be the use case, and for custom validation we will define the expression for that. So whenever we whenever we transfer some metadata or the node, if we transfer one node from the source to the target application, then this validation rule will work. So let's start. So suppose we have two existing properties in our source application and in our target application. Okay, and date format will be dd, and yy, 4 times y. So suppose, for example, our start date is 5th March of 2023, and end date we will just we'll figure out in our cases what we have below. We have the below cases. Okay, so suppose in case 1, and let me just show you the properties before we do the cases. So let's go to our application, and here you can see we have one source application, that is retailers SCM, and then we have a target application, that is custom application kind of, and it have the account dimension. So you can see we have the chart of accounts related to that. Okay, so we are just taking a basic example here. So you can see here, let's take one node here, bottom node here, and see its properties. Let's say we have retailer 33, and under it we have retailer 33 US. Okay, and we have north in this. So you can see we have some properties here, and it already have one start date, that is 1/3/2023, that is 1 March 2023. So when we just take this account and move it to the target application, and because we have already defined the node type converters in this, so with that we can easily just transfer this account, and when we just make some changes in the end date, so end date cannot be whatever cases we have prepared. We will just see that. So this type of validation we will provide in here. Okay, so let's see the cases first. So in case 1, if our node date is before the start date, okay, and I might be thinking that you people are familiar with the boolean is just that the data property. If you aren't like if you don't know what is boolean and all the property in the data types, you can see my previous video and you will get to know. So what is basically boolean is it is just the true and false value, or you can say with the yes or no we define the booleans. So if the node end date is before the start date, okay, and date is already defined here. If the node end date is before the start date, that is 4th of March 2023, or the end date is equal to the start date and start date is 5/3/23, then the boolean will return as false. It will give a validation error to us. Okay, and suppose if both the conditions are not satisfied, then the boolean will return as the value will return as true, and in this case it will not throw any error to us, and with implies with that the end date we will it can be any date after the start date. Okay, this is the interpretation of this full raw expression. Okay, so first let's do the first case, and we will get back to the second case. So let's go to our application. This is the EDMCS application, and to provide the custom validation, we have to go to inspect in the target application, and we have to go to data chain, and here we have to open the node types, and in node types we have to go to validations, and here I will create a validation for my current rule. Okay, current expression. So let's create. Okay, so after it is asking to provide a name for that. So let's give it its name. Give the name as validation effective dates. You can give any name here according to your need, and description is blank for now because it is not mandatory for to give it given here. Okay, and after creating, you can see here we have two tabs, that is general and definition. So let's open the definition tab, and this is a proper structure in which we are going to define the expression and what are the trigger actions and properties. So let's click on add it, and first I will enable it so we can, so the validation can be enabled to work on. Okay, and then okay, let's define the expression first. So in our first case, let me just remove the statement first, and we will start with if, and you can also just drag and drop it here. Okay, so we are starting with if. So in my current case, I want that if node properties, and that is custom date, custom end date, okay, and if before our start date. So to select that, we have to choose a node date value properties, and that will be start date. Okay, and we want or condition with that. Okay, so let me just copy it, and we will provide or, and I will just paste it here. Okay, and then we will give the or condition. So node properties custom end date, and this time we will not use before, we will use equals. So if it equals this, and to do the smart work, we can just simply copy this and paste it here. Okay, so let me just go back to our expression, the raw expression we have taken. So if node date is node end date is before start date, okay, or node date is equal to start date, then we want to return the value as boolean value as false. So click on this arrow and click on return, and we have to select boolean here, and value is false. Else else what we want that else it will return as true, so it will not throw any error if this condition is not satisfied. So let me just take boolean and make this true. So the expression is ready. Let's apply and save it. And one more thing, what are the trigger action? Trigger action is that if you want to add any particular node in the target, or if you want to just we have various other options as well, insert, remove, and all the things. So in my particular case, I'm just using add and trigger properties. So in end date, I want to give this expression, so I'm taking as like property is end date, and we have request state which we have already discussed before. Okay, and the failure message. So failure message I will give it as end date cannot be uh, before or after, before or equal to start date. Okay, this is the failure message which we will get. Okay, let's save it, and let's see if our rule is like expression is working or not. So in custom validation, these type of validation we can give in here. Okay, in the target application. So, and one more thing, if we just add in our target application, then also the validation rule will work. So let's take our like previous node, that is retailers 33 north, and we will just drag and drop it in the datas. Okay, so make a new request, and I will just take this node and drop it in here. Okay, so as you can see, it is now giving the error that end date, like it cannot be like equal to start date or cannot be before the start date. So let's give the end date, and our start date is 1 March 2023. So we have to provide after it, after the date of, and we cannot take it as equal to the start date. Still we are getting the same error. Okay, and if I take the end date as 2 March, then it will gone. It will, yeah, the error is gone now. Okay, and let's suppose if I take a previous date, let's suppose take a back date of February. Okay, then now again it is throwing us the error. So our validation is working successfully. So let's take this the date as 9th, today's date. Okay, now the error is gone. So let me just submit it. Okay, so this is the first case which we have done. Okay, and we have the second case as well. So let's move on. So the second case is if the node end date after the date, one second, if the node end date after the date value, that is today. So it means that particular, let's say we have the start date as 5/3/2023. Okay, and suppose today is like today itself is 5/3/23. Okay, so we want that our end date should after today, and it should be like after 5/3/23 and whatever the date is today. So the end date should always be after today. Okay, and or one more thing, one more condition we have, that node end date is null, then the boolean will return as true. Okay, so the return value for boolean will be true, and we will not have any error in this. Okay, we don't get any error. Okay, else if the boolean it will return the boolean as false, then we will get validation error. Okay, so this is how the second case, the second expression will work. So let's build this expression in our target application. So again, I will go to inspect and open the data chain, and under this we will open the node type and go to validation. And for the sake of testing, I will just delete the previous validation rule. Okay, let me just delete it, and we will create another one. Okay, so again I will name it as validation effective date, and let's name it as after today. And I will create and go to definition and go to edit, and we have to enable it first, and then here we will provide the expression. Okay, so again I will choose if as the statement, and let's just remove this. Okay, so we are good to go. So suppose if node properties, and that is again the end date, custom end date, and that is after, and here itself it is given as the object as today, so we can take it as today. Okay, and I will again just copy it, and we can make the or condition and paste it. Okay, and again I will just take the node property as null. End date is null, so we want to return the value as true. The boolean value as true, else we want that to return it as false. Okay, so the expression is now completed. So let's save it, and we have to provide a failure message. So let's give it as end date should be after today's date. Okay, or it should be blank or null. Let's take it as null only. Okay, and trigger actions, again I will just take add, because when we add, the validation rule will trigger. Okay, and properties, again we are taking ended because we have chosen the ended in the expression. Okay, and let's save it and close it, and now we'll practically test our validation, custom validation rule. So again I will click on side by side layout, and let's add another node to the target application. So go to retailers 33, and again I will just expand this, and let's add is this time. But one more thing, I have to provide the end date and start date. Okay, and this time I will take the same date because we have not provided any validations, custom validation in the source application. So it will take, but not, it will not take in the target application. So I will take the start date as for today's, let's take it as 8 March. Okay, and end date as the same. Okay, and let's submit it. Okay, so in the source application it is taken the same. Okay, but in the target application it won't take like previous date, because today is 9th March and it cannot take day before today or the today's date. So let's find our, okay, okay, I don't know where it is gone. Okay, nevertheless we can just transfer this, and we will test in the source target application. Sometimes your application itself have some limitations or errors. Okay, but we will test the like validation in the target application. So I'm transferring retailers 33 east dash east, and give the start date whatever we want. We can give 8 March. Okay, and let's give the end date as the same. Okay, so now you can see we are getting the error that end date should after today's date or it should be null. Okay, so we cannot give previous date what we have in today. Okay, and let's provide a date. One second, let's provide a date after today. Okay, so yes, it is taking the date after today's date, that is 10th March, and let's take today's date. If we are getting the, if we are still getting the error, so yes, we are still getting the error, and our rule is working totally fine. So I will just give a date after today's date, and I will just submit it, and it will take the request. So let me just close it. So this was the case how we can give an expression for the custom validation for the effective dates, and which should be ordered correctly. So thank you for watching this video, and if you have any queries you can visit bspsolutions.com. Thank you.